What is going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to TV and Me. I'm of course Kevin, and it's time again for the Walking Dead weekend. We are back with season 5 of The Walking Dead. Of course, last weekend we had the season 5 premiere episode, which was incredible. And now I've had time to think about the episode, I've had time to reflect on it. I honestly feel like that is probably my most favourite episode ever. And that episode, it just had absolutely everything. It had action, it had horror, it had suspense, thriller elements, it had reunion and happiness and just crying. It had it all. It's an episode which just encapsulated the whole of The Walking Dead. It was one of those episodes where every little thing came together to give us those amazing moments, and it was a pleasure to watch. So let's get into a really quick recap. I won't talk about the episode too much because so much happened and I don't want to repeat myself from the last review. I'll pick up on a few elements which I missed talking about. Firstly, something you guys and girls told me about actually, and that was the guy that we saw escape from the train or the shipping container. That was actually the guy that was keeping the rest of the group hostage, you know, the termites. When we saw him in the den part at the beginning of the episode and at the end of the episode, that guy who took the women and raped them, he was the one that was kept in the train car. So obviously when the termites had taken back over terminal and you know, taken it over, gained power again, they obviously kept him prisoner and just locked him in a container just to torture him. And you know, it did the job, because when he ran outside he was obviously crazy, and you know, the second he popped out the container I was like, he needs to die. And then the walker came running by and did bite him in the neck, and I was like, that would do. Because, you know, he was all kinds of crazy. We don't need that in this world. We've seen it time and time again. Crazy is a no-go. If you're crazy, you gotta go. That's how it is. Simple as that. So it was good to see him go out straight away. But it was an interesting connection because I completely missed that. And thank you for you guys and girls for actually pulling me up on that. Another element which I didn't touch on in last episode was the whole Tyrese angle. Because I was on high on the emotions of Rick and the reunions, you know, and Sasha and the reunion and everyone. It completely slipped my mind. But we saw in that episode how Tyrese dealt with that situation with that guy when he got his hands round Judith. He did it again. He went into a pack of walkers and he came out alive and not bitten. At least I think he's not bitten. Again, this is me making an assumption because he got out last time without getting bitten. So I assume he got out this time without being bitten, though it hasn't been shown. So it's a possibility. But going on the premise that he hasn't, he then got back into the house where that guy was threatening Judith. You know, he got control over him, he got on top of him, and he went to stab him, but then he changed his mind in the last second because that's not who he wants to be, and he started to beat him instead. Now, we heard him beating him as the camera zoomed out of the building. The only problem is, later on in the episode when Carol and the group met up with him again, he stopped Carol from going inside the building. He told Carol he was dead, but as she went in to go look, he stopped her. Now, I don't know whether that's because he was ashamed of what he had done to that man, because, you know, instead of stabbing him, he had beaten him to death. So obviously he would have been a mess. Maybe he was ashamed of that, so he didn't want her to see. On the other hand, he could have still been alive. And the reason he didn't want Carol to go in there is because he knows who Carol is. He knows Carol would deal with that situation. I mean, he saw it with Lizzie. She just dealt with the situation. He's seen it with, you know, rescuing Rick and his group. You know, she deals with shit, so obviously he knows. And that man even said to Tyrese that she would kill him. So maybe he's protecting that guy from Carol. Maybe he's ashamed of what he did. We do not know. I just hope it's not another situation where it's going to come back to bite him in the ass. Speaking of getting bit in the ass as well, I talked about it last episode in the review briefly, but the whole situation where we saw Rick and the group escape from Terminus. We then saw them leave some of the people alive, especially the leader. We saw him shot, but we did not see him die. So it's every possibility he's still alive. And Rick actually wanted to go back and kill that guy. But the rest of the group talked him out of it. Now, there was some debate in my own mind whether that was right or wrong. I was swaying towards Rick in wanting to go back and kill those people. But I actually put up a Patreon poll on the whole topic. And actually, it was, you know, this is one of the best Patreon polls I've ever done, because not only because the answers were split in a way, you know, it was more favourable to one of the answers, but the replies I got from my patrons on this topic was so in-depth and intelligent and well thought out. I feel like I had to share them with you guys and girls. So you'll probably see the poll on the screen now, and you'll see the result, and then as we're scrolling down you'll see the answers from some of my patrons, and I suggest you pause this video and I suggest you go and read those comments, because you know, I give some of my thoughts on the show when I do these reviews, but it's more interesting to get other people's point of view. So give them a read, let me know what you think of their thoughts and feelings, maybe add to them in the comment section below. One final thing I should definitely touch on, and I'm sure you've been waiting for me to talk about this, is the whole end credit scene at the end of last episode. I didn't record it because, I mean, Jordan, big shout out to you, man. You told me about this scene a couple of weeks back, and still I forgot. I have a terrible memory, so if we do come up to after credit scenes in the future, just remind me the weekend before that episode so I remember to watch it, because I've got a memory like a sieve, and yeah, I will forget. So just remind me, and next time I'll watch it. But I did miss this one, but when I saw your comments I went back and watched it, and the moment we saw someone walking down the train tracks, I've got to say, even before he took his mask off, I thought to myself, could this be Morgan? Is this why people want me to watch this? And sure enough, he took off his mask and it was Morgan. And obviously he's not that far behind Rick, because he stumbled upon the sign we saw Rick create at the end of that episode, the last episode. So hopefully he's not too far behind. Hopefully he meets up with Rick's group in this episode. That would be incredible, because I'm sure, as you know, if you've been following me through this whole journey of The Walking Dead, I love the Morgan character. We've only seen him, I think he's only been in 3 episodes. I think it was 1, 2, was he in 2? I think he was in 2. 1, 2 and episodes, I can't remember the episode number, but it was the episode titled Clear, in which he gave one of the best speeches in this entire series. You know, it still sticks with me today. Whenever I hear someone say the colour red, I hear it in that sort of tear-jerking way that he said it in, red. I can't even copy it, and that is a terrible impersonation, but the way he says it in that episode, in that whole speech, in that monologue, was just insane. And like I say, it sticks to me to this day. So I'm hoping he manages to join up with the group, and maybe, because I never mentioned Beth in last episode either, because I was so high off the episode, or off the emotions of the episode, that I forgot to mention her, but she's still missing. So hopefully Morgan joins the group, he maybe helps him find Beth, and we can have the whole group together again, plus Morgan. That would be perfect for me personally. So I'm going to stop waffling on, because I've been going on for a while now, and I'm starting to get bored of the sound of my own voice. So let's get into the episode. This is Season 5, Episode 2. I can't wait. Whew, let's do it.
You didn't want to be there. That's why I tried to talk to you. Glenn told me you saved his life.
He saved mine.
Well, that's how it works with us, right?
Right. Hey.
Aww. That's a show of affection, isn't it?
Get something to eat. We'll start back at sunup.
Certainly better than doing it with fucking Brian.
Talk to Rick. Some of them know what you did. Daryl, Maggie, they accepted. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. I'm gonna talk to the rest of them. Tell them to accept it too.
They don't have to.
No, they do. They just do. We don't need to tell them about the girls. I don't want to.
Why?
I just need to forget it.
I owe you everything.
You owe Tyrese. He was at the prison.
That's old Carol.
I still don't know about what you did. I sent you away to this.
You said I could survive. You were right.
I sent you away to this, and now we're joining you. Will he have us? Thank you.
Last time this happened,
There's nothing.
Rick got a gun put to his head. That better be Morgan, and that better not be someone from Terminus.
Dad, come on. Come on. Come on.
saw what happened last time. Is that a priest?
Clear.
That is a priest.
Keep watch.
Do you remember what that car had on that took Beth?
Going down.
It had a cross on it. Coincidence? Maybe.
Do you have a camp?
No. Do you?
I have a church.
Hold your hands above your head. How many walkers have you killed?
Not any, actually.
All right. How many people have you killed?
That should be how many people have you kidnapped, I
None.
think.
Why?
Because the Lord abhors violence. Well, I wasn't watching you. I haven't been beyond the stream near my church more than a few times since it all started. That was the furthest I've gone before today. Well, maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm lying about everything and there's no church ahead at all. Maybe I'm leading you into a trap so I can steal all your squirrels.
Yeah, I wouldn't joke about that shit.
Members of my flock had often told me that my sense of humor leaves much to be desired.
Thanks for this.
We found a short bus out back. It don't run, but I bet we could fix that in less than a day or two. Father here says he doesn't want it. Looks like we found ourselves some transport.
Do.
Now that we can take a breath,
We take a breath, we slow down. Shit inevitably goes down.
we need supplies, no matter what we do next.
That's right. Water, food, ammunition.
Short bus ain't going nowhere. Bring you back some baked beans.
What he said.
We want to roll with you, but what she said.
I've cleaned out every place nearby, except for one. It's overrun.
How many?
A dozen or so, maybe more.
We can handle a dozen.
I'll draw you a map.
Hey, you don't need to. You're coming with us.
I'm not going to be of any help. You saw me. I'm no good around those things.
You're coming with us.
That is smart.
Why do you trust him?
Everybody can't be bad.
I don't trust this guy. And that's why I'm bringing him with me. I need you to hear what I'm about to say.
Okay.
You are not safe. No matter how many people are around, or how clear the area looks, no matter what anyone says, no matter what you think, you are not safe. It only takes 1 second. Never let your guard down, ever.
I take it he knew her. Oh, what is he doing? Oh my god, her head exploded. Bob.
Are you okay?
I'm fine now. Doesn't mean Gabriel's a bad guy for sure, but
You'll burn for this.
To the survivors. Is that all you want to be?
Oh, I
Wake up
see
in the
what he's
morning,
playing up.
fight the undead pricks, forage for food, go to sleep at night, 2 eyes open, rinse and repeat. And we get Eugene to Washington and he will make the dead die and the living will have this world again. And that is not a bad takeaway for a little road trip. Eugene, what's in D.C.?
Infrastructure constructed to withstand pandemics even of this foobar magnitude. That means food, fuel, refuge.
However long it takes for the reset button to kick in, you can be safe there. Safer than you've been since this whole thing started. Save the world for that little one. Save it for yourselves. Save it for the people out there Don't got nothing left to do except survive.
What was that? I think she knows what I'm about to say. She's in. If she's in, I'm in. We're in.
It's the calm before the storm. I feel like something really bad's going to happen.
You're hiding something. And it's pretty obvious. It's something you can't hide from. But these people are my family. And if what you're hiding somehow hurts them in any way, I'll kill you.
Fuck, is Carol heading out on her own? Daryl's caught
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Come on.
It's the car with the cross.
They got back. Come on. Come on, get in.
The fuck? Oh, for fuck's sake. Tyrese. He didn't kill him.
Good news is, you're not dead yet. You and your people took away our home.
Fucking
That's fair
butcher
play.
shop.
Now we're out here like everybody else, trying to survive. And in order to do that, we have to hunt. I just hope you understand that nothing happening to you now is personal. Yeah, you put us in this situation, and it is almost kind of a cosmic justice for it to be you. But we would have done this to anybody. At the end of the day, no matter how much we hate all this ugly business, a man's gotta eat.
It's happened again. It has happened again. The second you leave someone bad with ill intentions out in this Walking Dead world, every single time they will come back to haunt you. You always get punished for doing a good act. I mean, it was a good act in the sense of Rick and the group, they decided not to go back to the prison and finish everyone off. They gave them a chance. But because they did that good act, and because they gave them a chance, people are now going to suffer going forward. More precisely at this point, Bob. Bob has now had his leg removed. And even though we saw Herschel survive with his leg removed for quite a long time, that was because they had a safe place, you know, somewhere relatively safe anyway. They had fences, they had secure buildings. That wasn't until the governor came, of course, but still. You know, he was relatively safe in that place and he was able to survive because he didn't need to be mobile. He didn't need to be fast. But now Bob is missing a leg, which I think at this point condemns him to death. There is no way Bob is going to be in this show much longer, in my personal opinion, because of that. Not only because the remaining termites have got him, but also, like I say, because he's not mobile anymore. Like, this is just horrific, man. I'm a bit frustrated myself as well because, you know, going back to the beginning of this episode, or before the beginning of this episode with my recap, I was saying how at the end of last episode I was swaying towards Rick should have gone back into Terminus and finished everyone off, but with some thought, you know, I decided that maybe it was right that they didn't go back and finish everyone off. And it just goes to show with me that I should really stick with my instincts. We've been proven now twice that the second you give up on like killing the bad, it will come back and kill someone from your group or from Rick's group or even you. We saw it with the governor. They stopped looking for him, and what happened? He came back and Herschel died. I mean, they're in Terminus. They could have gone back and finished him off, but they decided not to. They decided to keep on moving, and they've come back and they've got Bob and they've cut off one of his legs. So he's pretty much condemned to death as well. And also, they've got Surprise on the rest of Rick's group. So who knows who else they're going to kill. It's just... I hate it, because the logic behind Rick and the group not going back there is totally sound. It's a completely valid point. But we get proven time and time again in this show that doing good always makes you get punished. You always get punished for doing those good deeds. And it's happening again. And I feel so naive, man. I feel so naive in the fact that earlier on in this season, in The Walking Dead, in like season 1 and 2, I was always trying to look for the humanity, always trying to do the good, but, you know, it just doesn't work like that in this world. You have to be ruthless at times, you really do. And people that are cannibals especially, people that have proven they have no sympathy towards other human beings, they have to be dealt with there and then. I just hope Rick is savvy enough to keep himself on guard. I mean, it appeared he was in this episode, because he even said to the priest at one point, I do not trust you. Or at least he said to him, I know you're hiding something, and if you threaten any of my group, my family, then I will kill you. And I don't blame him for that. So I'm hoping Rick is alert enough that he is still wary of the idea that the people of Terminus may be coming after him. I mean, there was that moment in this episode where they were aware that somebody was tracking them because they heard someone in the forest at night. So, hopefully, Rick knows they are coming after him. And if that's the case, he can do something about them. But, like I say, it's all up in the air. Again, Rick and the group were punished for keeping people alive. And I feel this is going to be a lesson compounded on top of another lesson. Don't let people live when they pose a threat. You have to kill them. And, you know, Shane with Randall all those episodes ago, it seems like Shane was right. They had to kill him. You know, even though I sided with Rick at the time, Randall needed to die. No matter how innocent he looked, no matter how young he was, no matter how much he begged, it needed to happen. I should just quickly mention as well, on topic of the termites, that when Bob was coming round, you might have heard me say, oh, Tyrese. And that was because I thought for a second, when it was sort of blurred as he was coming round from being knocked out, that I saw the face of the guy that was in the cabin with Tyrese. I could have been imagining that. I don't know if it was his face, or because it was very brief, it was the face of the guy in charge. I can't remember his name. I think his name is Gareth, or that might have been his brother. I can't remember. Let me know in the comment section below so I can get it right next time. But I thought I saw the guy in the cabin's face. Now, again, like I say, I don't know if I imagined that. If I didn't imagine it, that means Tyrese let him live, which again proves that if you're good and you show mercy, then it comes back to get you. And people are going to be punished because of Tyrese's forgiveness, because of him being merciful. And in this world, that just doesn't fly. Going forward, I really hope at some point the writers write into the storyline about maybe Rick's group allowing someone to go, then that person coming back and actually helping them rather than being a threat. Because every time they've let someone live, it's come back to bite them in the ass, like I say. And it's unforgiving. I just wish that there is one instance where they let someone go and it actually helps them, it benefits them, or at least you see that person maybe surviving and, you know, being happy because of their mercy. Because every time they show mercy, it's just been bad for Rick's group every single time. Apart from Carol, you know, Rick showed a mercy by letting her go rather than letting Tyrese get his hands on her at the time. Because at that time, I don't feel like he would have forgiven her. I feel like he would have done something a bit rash. But later on he forgave her. So I don't really count Carol in that because she's part of the group. We know who Carol is. I want them to meet some stranger that they let go and it comes back to benefit them. Because, like I say, every time it's been absolutely terrible, the circumstances in which they meet him again. And I don't feel like I can trust any human that isn't in Rick's group. But let's move away from that because, as you can probably tell, I'm pretty frustrated by the whole thing. The only other real thing to happen in this episode was, of course, Daryl seeing the car that took Beth, and now he's given chase. Rightly so in my eyes. Even though I don't want to see the group split up, I understand why he's gone after him. He has to act there and then. And luckily, Carol was on her way out and she was going to leave the group, which I don't understand why. Well, I sort of understand why. I guess Carol was going to leave because she now feels strong enough to be on her own. She even said to Rick in this episode, you know, I'm strong enough to survive on my own. And maybe after everything that happened with Mika and Lizzie, she feels as though she doesn't want to invest emotion in anyone anymore. She doesn't want to see anyone else die, so she'd rather be on her own. But at the end there, we saw Daryl. I think Daryl sort of talked her around. He said, come on, let's go home. And it looked as though she was going to follow him. But then we saw the car, or Daryl saw the car. And, you know, I did say maybe it was the priest, because he's a priest and the cross on the car. But he is with Rick, so he's obviously not driving that car. But much like I said, the priest could be in cahoots with the termites. It's also possible that the priest could be in cahoots with the person driving that car. And there's some sort of, I don't know, kidnapping ring going on, or something weird going on. I don't know what, I'll have to find out. But Daryl and Carol have given chase. And like I say, even though I'd rather they stay together, I understand why Daryl decided to do that. And we're just going to have to wait and see now whether them giving chase is going to end in good or bad. This being The Walking Dead, it's probably going to end in a death. But I hope that Daryl and Carol are able to rescue Beth and get her back safely to Maggie, especially. But that was about it, so let's leave that there. Like I say, I was a little frustrated with this episode, not because it was bad, it was a good episode. I was frustrated because we've just basically had a repeat of what happened with the governor, you know, in terms of leaving people alive. I hate that I sort of fell into a false sense of security in thinking that it was okay to leave the termites alive. I should have stuck with my gut. I should have stuck with me thinking that Rick was right in going back to kill them. But, you know, I don't live in that world. When I come out of the Walking Dead show and then I spend a couple of days in the real world, you know, your moral compass changes again. And I thought they did the right thing. But let's hope, like I say, Rick has his head on the swivel. He's able to maybe kill the termites before they do any more damage than they already have. And good prevails. But we'll just have to wait and see, like I say. So until next time, thank you for watching, guys and girls. I really appreciate it. And bye-bye. Thank you for watching The Walking Dead with me. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up because it helps me and it helps the channel grow. Remember, if you have any thoughts or theories on the episode, you can leave them in the comments section below. But please, no spoilers. Also, if you'd like to support me even more than you do now, you can find me on Patreon, where you can get access to early videos, and also you can vote in Patreon polls. Link is in the description. And finally, if you want to keep up to date with the channel, you can find me on Twitter at TVandMeReacts, or you can subscribe.